Gorilla, nature. Bro, let's go skate. Dude, E equals MC squared. Nerd for life.
Hey, how's it going, you guys? Your boy Pastor Darius here. I am very, very excited. Exuberant, y'all. Exuberant. So, this is a historical look at the Bible. History in the Bible with your boy Pastor Darius. So, today we're looking at historical evidence. We're taking a historical dive, and we're going to be proving the things that are inside, some new truths, right? So this series that we're in right now is called the 12 Tribes of Israel. The 12 Tribes of Israel. Oh man. Whoo! I tell you what. I plead the fifth. Anyway, no. Let's get into it though. So the first part that we're going to start with is part 1, which is the tribe of Judah. So anybody who knows about Israel understands that there is 12 tribes. Now, a lot of people equate Israel with the people who are over in Israel right now, which I'm going to be honest with you. I do not know who those people are, because the true tribes of Israel are scattered throughout Africa and the Caribbean. The true tribes of Israel. Why? Because Abraham was black. You know what I'm saying? Abraham was black. The Bible is a history of African descent. You know what I'm saying? It's historical documentation of African descent. Why? Because we go way back when. It's been proven throughout history that all started with black. You can make a white person by combining two African people, straight black, and when they're lacking in specific genes, right? What is created is called an albino, and then you keep mating albinos with albinos, and then guess what we get? White people. You hear what I'm saying? Now, there's no way to take two white people and create a black person. Impossible, cannot be done, has never been done. Just what it is. You hear what I'm saying? You can't take something that is lacking and then create something from that. You hear what I'm saying? Like there is something that the African people have, aka melanin. You hear what I'm saying? And there's other genes that are not present with the mutated gene that is, the white people, right? People from, the Caucasus, the Caucasus and Asia and all that stuff, So anyway, let's get right on into this. Hop on in. So, Judah, the royal line. This one. So Judah, the royal line connection. It's the Beta Israel, Ethiopian Jews. These are the actual Jews. The actual Jews are in Ethiopia. They're not in Israel right now. I do not know who those people are. I think those are Arabic people who migrated from the Arabic countries into, and then, started claiming that they were the Jewish people, the Jewish heritage. I don't know how they got there. I even spoke with a Jewish person. I was like, hey man, and we had a basic conversation, and I was like, hey bro, who are the people up over there in Israel right now? Because the real Jews are in Ethiopia. You know what I'm saying? And, he had very few answers for the questions I was asking. But we're not going to go too far into that. Let's go ahead and keep going. All right. And Ethiopian Jews and Lemba, the South Africa and the Zimbabwe. So this is the royal line, through the Judah. It's in Ethiopia, South Africa, and Zimbabwe. That's where all the royal Jewish people are. They're in the tribe. The tribe of Judah is spread out through South Africa, Ethiopia, and Zimbabwe. So let's look at the biblical speaking point. This is in Genesis chapter 40, from Genesis chapter 49, verse 9 through 10. The scepter shall not depart from Judah as the lion's whelp. Now, I'm just going to let you guys know I read from the LSV, which is the literal standard of the Bible. This is the Ethiopian Bible. You hear what I'm saying? I don't read from King James. I don't read from NIV. I don't read from any of those anymore. That time has come, past, gone. It is what it is. So now I am, because this is the literal standard. The fact is that King James, he had slaves. You hear what I'm saying? King James had slaves. And the Bible that everybody's reading from, the KJV, NIV, right? These Bibles were written to keep slaves in captivity. You know what I'm saying? To stop the slaves from revolting against the white slave masters, right? So we look way, way back, King James versions and all those other ones, right? They don't even have the Apocrypha in them, right? So these Bibles were created with a specific purpose, right? They talk about Jesus being peaceful when Jesus said directly that I came to bring the sword, to separate mother from father, brother from sister. You know what I'm saying? What this means is it's a literal thing, man. Jesus came to bring the sword, create separation within the families, the believers versus the non-believers. You hear what I'm saying? The righteous versus the non-righteous. Now, it just happened to be a long time ago, right? That the cruel and terrible people in from the European history, man. I mean, the Europeans used to live in their in caves, and they used to eat, they used to eat each other when they would die and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And then they got like plagues and all types of stuff, because they were sleeping with the animals, have sheep and dogs pooping, and sheep and cows pooping up in their house. So a plague hit them, and then what happened is that the black Moors from Africa happened to be Muslims, right? They had to come and teach the white people. They taught them like economics, they taught them math, they taught them astronomy, right? They taught them all these different sciences. People think that the sciences came from Arabia and all that stuff. Nah, bro, that stuff came from Africa, bro. You know what I'm saying? You guys better learn the real truth history. You know what I'm saying? Stop letting these, the fact is that the winners of wars are the ones who create the history. Now, is it the true actual history of what actually happened? No, a lot of the time it is not. You hear what I'm saying? So, I've even heard tell that, like the real Egypt and the pyramids were actually in the Americas. You know what I'm saying? Not over there in the part of Egypt that they're talking about right now, right? Because let's think about this, right? When we think about the empire of we think about the empire of Egypt, the Egyptian empire, and we think about all these huge empires. How far did because keep in mind, over time the lands have broken up. At one point it used to all be one. They called it Pangea. You know what I'm saying? I don't even really know, to be honest with you guys, right? I don't even really know if we should be calling Africa Africa, because I heard that there was a white man named Afro something, Aphrodite or something like that, and that's where the term Africa was derived from. And so the white Europeans went when after the Moors went, helped them get rid of the Black Plague that was threatening to wipe out all of the European culture, right? They got guns and all that stuff, and then they went to Africa, and they turned. Because there were tribes in Africa that had disputes with other tribes, and what the white slave masters did is that they would come into Africa, and then they would say, hey man, they would go to one tribe like, look, we will give you our weapons, give us your gold, give us diamonds, you know what I'm saying? And they would trade guns so that the African people could murder and kill each other, and then they would have the Africans enslave the other African tribes, thus they would be sold into slavery. And that's how the slavery was widely spread, right? Now, the issue is that when they did this, right? Because before the white slave masters went into Africa, they had beautiful African kingdoms throughout Africa, beautiful African kingdoms where they knew their heritage, they knew their culture, they knew who they were. Now we've gone from these beautiful African African kingdoms to modern day, you know what I'm saying? Like what they got going on over in Nigeria, where you know the Muslims are killing the Christians, and you know all types of scamming and stuff like that, and you know they got all types of malaria, and you know it's just like, man, it almost seems like Africa is destitute, right? At least this is the view that the white slave masters give to the general public. You hear what I'm saying? This is the view that was given by the owners of media. You know, they try to make it seem as if Africa is this godforsaken continent. You know what I'm saying? But it's not. It's beautiful. The culture is rich. You know, anyway, so let's go ahead and continue in the reading. Genesis 49, 9 through 10. A lion's whelp is Judah. For prey, my son, you have gone up. He has bent. He has crouched as a lion and as a lioness who causes him to arise. Who causes him to arise, right? The scepter does not turn aside from Judah, and a lawgiver from between his feet until his seed comes, and his is the obedience of peoples. So what I want to talk about is what they're talking about in current day. I've been hearing them talk about the holy war. The issue is that right now they're saying that Israel fighting against you know the Palestine and Iran and all that stuff. They're saying that this is the holy war. The issue with this is that those are not the original tribe of, those aren't the tribe, the Israel, the tribes of Israel. The tribes of Israel, as I've stated, are in Africa. They're in Ethiopia. So the Ethiopia isn't currently, as far as I know, they're not at like war. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not under siege. You know what I'm saying? So thus, this isn't true. It is not. A lot of people are using this as to say that, you know, the justification for saying, oh, we're in the end times, you know, the holy war is here. And it's a miscalculation. It's a miscalculation. A lot of people need to do research. They need to stop reading the King James version and stop reading the NIV and reading all these other versions of the Bible that were written by the slave masters and were determined and created with the sole purpose of keeping the slaves enslaved, keeping the slave mentality going, stopping the people from defending themselves and protecting their families, telling them, you know, right now over in Ethiopia, or I'm sorry, in Nigeria, right? We look at right now over in Nigeria, the Muslim people are blowing up churches, and the Christians over there aren't doing anything in return. Straight up, they're dying, bro. They're dying. They're being annihilated. And you know what's crazy is that the Christian people over there, they're reading from King James version, which tells them to, you know, turn the other cheek. No, bro. No, you're not supposed to turn the other cheek when somebody comes in to harm your family. You have a right. It is the human right for a person to protect their loved ones, to protect themselves, and to protect their families when they are being massacred. You hear what I'm saying? Right is right, wrong is wrong. And the ones who created this, the King James version and the NIV versions, right, and so forth and so on, these have been created by committees who've been, their sole focus was to stop the slaves from revolting and killing the slave masters. You know what I'm saying? You give the people religion and embed it. It is clear, even in the Bible, it says, raise a child up in the way that they should go, and when they are old, they will not depart from it. So let's keep going on, right? Biblical speaking, point 2. This is from Revelations 5:5. The significance of the Lion of the tribe of Judah in a global messianic context. So I just want to clarify to you guys, right? I am not inciting anybody to go out and start war or start attacking people. That is not what I'm saying in any way, shape, or form. What I am saying is that it is a human right for people to defend themselves. It is a human right across the board. And that's any part of the world that you go to, a person has the right to defend themselves. If someone is being unjustly attacked, you have the right to defend yourself. That is what I am saying. You do have a right to defend yourself. Anyway, it's just like if somebody's being attacked through, media or whatever it may be, you do have a right. If your name is being blasphemed, and somebody's tearing you down or something like that, you have a right to defend yourself. So let's continue going. Let's look at Revelations, right? 5:5. And one of the elders says to me, "Do not weep. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the Root of David, has overcome to open the scroll and to loose its 7 seals." Ooh, man, this is powerful right here, man. Ooh, the significance of the Lion of the tribe of Judah, man. You hear what I'm saying? So, this is talking about Jesus, Yeshua, right? Yeshua, for all who don't know the actual name of Jesus Christ, it is Yeshua. Yeah, so I guess, I have been having conversations with a lot of people, recently. A lot of people think we're in the end times, and, personally, I don't think we're in the end times. We haven't even gotten close to the end times. It could be 1,000 years from now. It could be 2,000 years from now. And because the fact is that we look at like Y2K, right? Y2K, they said, there were all type of stories. Oh, we're in the end times. Planes are going to be falling out the sky. All the computer systems are going to shut down and so forth and so on. And you know what happened on Y2K? Nothing. Life went on as it should have. Life went on as it should have. It's 26 years ago. 26 years ago. You look back in history, man, people have been talking about the end times for generations on generations. We're in the end times. The computers are here. They're going to take over. Oh my gosh. Then it was AI is here. AI is here. They're going to take over. Oh my gosh. Now it's robots. Oh, robots are here. They're going to take over. Oh my gosh. It's just like, bro, every generation on generation, we got these people out here who are making a living. Keep in mind, there's a lot of people who are making a living off of your ignorance, right? They use what you don't know because a lot of people don't read the word for themselves to know the truth. If you don't know the truth, then guess what? Anybody can tell you anything. And if it sounds good, it must be true. You know what I'm saying? They got people talking about the presidents, right? They say right now they're saying the Epstein files, and they're saying the president of the United States ate babies, and they say they used to rape the women and stuff like that. I mean, goodness gracious, man. They got so much stuff out there. You guys, take everything with a grain of salt. You don't have to believe every story that is put in the news. You hear what I'm saying? Everything out there ain't true. There a lot of stuff is blown up. And why? Because media needs something to talk about. They have to talk about something. And the truth is, the media hates President Trump. They hate President Trump. So you know what they're going to do? They're going to use anything that they can to drag his name, to drag his cabinet's name, to drag the Republicans through the streets. You know what I'm saying? ICE is this horrible, terrible thing that's out there. You know what I'm saying? ICE is destroying the United States. All they're doing is locking up people's kids and separating families and stuff like that. Bro, hey man, everything needs to be taken with a grain of salt. Yes, there are some ICE agents who have done atrocious things. This goes without saying, right? Murder, cold blood murder is never okay. Never okay. And it has happened, right? Now, there's justification. A lot of people say, well, oh, this person did this person did that. All I know is to shoot and kill an unarmed person. I don't really know where the justification is in that, but this does not mean that all ICE agents are bad. This does not mean, it's just like with the police, right? A lot of growing up, right? I mean, man, bro, as a kid, the African American people, they like hate the police, bro. Like straight up, man. I was like made to believe that the police were. But the crazy part is when I was growing up, I used to watch like cowboy movies with the sheriffs, and the sheriffs were like, they would like help people, and stuff like that. And they did good stuff, man. And there's a lot of police officers who give, they've dedicated their lives to trying to make communities better across the country. You know what I'm saying? And it's not all about just attacking black neighborhoods, attacking black people, blue lives matter, black lives matter. You know what I'm saying? We got all this nonsense. It's all bringing separation inside of the societies. We have to find some type of way to not just hate each other. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's continue going on. Next one. This is a biblical speaking point. 3 is 2 Kings, chapter 24, 14 through 16. The dispersion of Judah during the Babylonian exile, right? And he has removed all Jerusalem and all the chiefs and all the mighty men of valor. 10,000 is the expulsion. And every craftsman and smith, none has been left except the poor of the people of the land. And he removed Jehoiachin to Babylon, and the brother of the king, and the wives of the king, and his eunuchs, and the mighty ones of the land. He has caused a removal to go from Jerusalem to Babylon, and all the men of valor, 7,000, and the craftsmen and the smiths, 1,000. The whole are mighty men. Historical fact: Solomonic dynasty in Ethiopia, established by, let's look at this historical fact. We're going to hop right into this, right? The Solomonic dynasty of Ethiopia, established by Menelik the first, son of Solomon and Sheba, claimed direct descendant from Judah for over 3,000 years. The Solomonic dynasty stands as one of history's longest running claims to power, defining Ethiopian identity for millennia. According to tradition, the line began with Menelik the first, the son of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. This Solomonic connection provided the monarchy with a divine right to rule, liking the Ethiopia crown to the biblical tribe of Judah. While historical records show a restoration of the line in 1270 AD, the dynasty officially reigned until the deposition of Emperor Haile Selassie in 1974. You guys, come on, man. The historical evidence is clear. The historical evidence is clear. The line of Judah, right? This is the line of Judah. They are direct descendant. The Ethiopian people are direct descendants of the line of Judah. You know what I'm saying? So the people over in Israel right now, are they the real Jews? I think it's questionable. I really think it's questionable. So let's continue. Primary source for this, right, is the Kebra Nagast, the Glory of Kings, the ancient Ethiopian national epic detailing the lineage of the Solomonic dynasty, right? The Kebra Nagast, the Glory of Kings, served as the foundational text for this claim. Compiled in the 14th century, this epic is more than just literature. It is sacred. It is a sacred blend of history, allegory, and genealogy. It details how Menelik the first traveled to Jerusalem to meet his father and eventually brought the Ark of the Covenant back to Aksum, Ethiopia. This narrative transformed Ethiopia into a second Israel, cementing the nation's status as a chosen protector of the Christian faith. What's crazy is that a lot of people believe that the white slave masters were the ones who brought, the Caucasian slave masters, the one from England and all over, France and all of that, right? That they're the ones who brought Christianity into Africa, but it's not true. They did. I would say, and the Spaniards, right? People from Spain, right? I would say they did. I would say that they were responsible for expansion of the faith, helping the faith to expand through Africa. But they were not the originators of bringing the faith to Africa. Why? Because the Ethiopian Jews were already there. The word was already in Africa before, all of this even started. You hear what I'm saying? It was already there. You hear what I'm saying? So anyway, you guys, I want to thank you guys for watching this episode. This has been history, the biblical history. We are biblical historians, you guys. This is Biblical History with Pastor Darius. I want to thank you guys for tapping in. If you guys appreciate this message, you guys, please don't forget to go to our website, www.guerrillanaturinc.com, and, go make a donation to our nonprofit organization. Also, if you guys want to, if you guys let me know how you guys feel in the comments about the topics that I've been talking about, these controversial topics. Are the real Jews the ones in Israel now? Are we having the holy war? Is the Epstein files real? Is the president of the United States a bad person? Let me know how you feel, you guys. Is ICE horrible? Are they just out there trying to crucify, non-white Americans and send the Spanish influenced people back to their home countries? Let me know, you guys. Your boy, Pastor Darius. Please write in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you guys next time.